Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we are going to learn how to configure FTP server on Cisco Packet Tracer. Now, FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, which is a network transmission standard that uses TCP. FTP allows files or data to transfer between two computers over an internet connection. TCP or Transmission Control Protocol is what makes FTP reliable. Checking and ensuring that your data actually arrives at its destination. An FTP server and FTP client relationship uses the file transfer protocol to facilitate communications. The FTP client sends a signal to the FTP server via the control channel, which is used to authenticate the client and to facilitate FTP commands. The FTP server then accepts or denies access and lets the FTP client initiate its upload or download on the data channel, so the control channel can remain open for browsing file listings. An FTP client is software you use to manage your interactions with an FTP server. The FTP client will translate your interactions into commands that are sent to the FTP server. File transfer wasn't always easy. Before drag and drop or FTP clients, FTP actually began by typing commands into a terminal window, which can still be done today. Now, I will show you all of these things step by step today. Let's start with configuring FTP server. First, we will click on the devices, and then we will drag and drop a server here. We will rename the server as FTP server. And we will write down the IP address. Let's assume the IP address is 192.168.1.7. Now we will click on this Thunderbolt option, select copper straight through cable, which is the third one from the left, and click on the devices to connect FTP server to the switch. Now we will assign IP address to FTP server. Click on FTP server, click on desktop, then IP configuration, then type 192.168.1.7. If you click here, the subnet mask will come up. The default gateway will be this one, which is 192.168.1.1. And the DNS server address will be 192.168.1.5, as you can see here. Now we have assigned IP address to FTP server. Now we will configure FTP server. Click on services, click on FTP, and then you will see that we already have a user here known as Cisco, and the password is Cisco. And this account has the permission for writing, reading, deleting, renaming, and listing. Now we will create a new user here. Let's just remove this one. For this example, I'm going to create an account in my name. So I will type here TANVIR, and the password I will write Cisco, CISCO, as password. Then I will give all the permissions to this account: writing, reading, deleting, renaming, and listing. Click on Add. Now we have successfully created an account on FTP server. Make sure you check whether the service is on or off. We can see here that the service is on. Now, also, if you go down, you will see that we have 33 files stored on FTP server. You can download these files, you can rename these files, and you can delete the files. We will see those things one by one. Now, let's just close this one and select a client, an FTP client. Now we will try to log in to the FTP server. How can we do that? If you click on the client PC and then click on command prompt, you will see that you are now in the PC. Now type FTP space the IP address of the FTP server, which is 192.168.1.7. Hit enter, and it's asking for username. See, it says, welcome to PTFTP server. Username, I'll type my name. My name, Tanveer. Enter. It's asking password, but before it does that, it says username okay, need password. Type password, which is Cisco. Enter. Now you have successfully logged in to the FTP server from a client FTP. Now you don't know what sort of commands you're going to use. If you just type a question mark and enter, it will give you a list of commands that you can use for FTP server. Now, you can Google these commands and you will be able to see the meaning of these commands. Now, we will use one or two from this list. We will use dir. It will give us the list of all the files on FTP server. We will download files from FTP server to the FTP client by using get. We will rename files by using rename, and then we will delete files. So these are the few commands that we're going to use just to learn. If you want to learn more, you can Google these commands. You can know the meaning, and then you can use these commands. So let's jump on downloading the files. So first, what we are going to do, we're going to type dir, enter. As you can see, there are 32 files already stored on FTP server. 32 files. Now, we are going to download one of these 32 files on FTP client. Let's do that.